Hello all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm here with my first ever Thread Thursday for you guys. I figured since I already had my sewing machine out today and some other supplies for a project that I was working on earlier, that I would show you guys what I have in my craft corner. I'm going to show you all of the quilting staples that I have right now in my quilting box. I figured I would open that up for you guys today and show you what all I have inside, show you what I'm working on, and showing you what tools I have so far. As I open up my box here, the first thing that is on top are the different books and binders of project ideas that I have. I have this one, it's called The Weekend Quilt by Leslie Lindsay. This is a book that my mom gave to me. It's full of designs that are much simpler quilt tops to sew together. Once you get really good, you can finish a quilt top off in what it claims in just a weekend. It's wonderful for beginners. It has very detailed instructions on how to cut the blocks, how to piece them together, and how to finish the quilts off. So if you guys are just getting started, I would highly recommend trying to find a book like that. So as I look through different books or online to find things that look fun that I want to try, I've been sketching them out on graph paper and putting them down in this binder. So I have all sorts of different designs and my personal little tips of how big I want block sizes to be, what colors I want to use, how many of each block I'll have to make, all that fun stuff. Once I have a pattern picked out from one of these books and know what project I want to start, the next thing I go to is buying my fabric, and once I have it home, getting my fabric all cut. I'm starting off just with the smaller blade since what I'm focusing on is sewing quilt tops together. But I'll take this, my cutting board, and one of the various quilting rulers that I have to cut that fabric. So I have two square rulers. I have this one, which is 12.5 inches, and I also have this little 6.5 inch square ruler. These two came in a pack together. This is my rectangular ruler. It is 6.5 by 24.5 inches, and it works really well for when I am going to make the initial cut down my fabric to make multiple blocks from. Once I have my fabric all cut, I then go into marking and pinning them. I use fabric markers and pens to make those marks on my fabric. You'll notice that I have 3 different blue pens. That is just because that's the one that I prefer the most. I have one pen that is a dual-sided pen. So this one has the water-soluble side, but it also has this purple side, which is both air and water-soluble. As for pins, and I also have a little pin cushion to stick those in as well. I also have here some large safety pins. And I just have these for when it comes time to quilting a project. That way I can pin together all 3 layers. I can pin together the quilt top, the batting, and the backing all together in however many spots that I need them to be. I also keep in my box a spare spool of thread when it comes time to quilting. I have a thimble all ready to go. I also have a set of what's called quilter's betweens. So these are the needles that I will actually use when it comes time to quilting my quilt top. In this little repurposed gum box, I also have my best friend and worst nightmare. I have a seam ripper. I like it when this little seam ripper gets to stay in his box, but I'm also grateful at how easily it does its job of ripping seams, so that way if I mess up on a stitch, I can just easily take that out and re-sew with no problem. Next up, I have the projects that I'm currently working on. So the first thing in the project section of my quilter box is this plain gray t-shirt. I have this in here so that eventually I can embroider some little daisies coming out of the pocket here. I found this shirt for very cheap and it looked really comfy, but I thought it would be cute with just a little bit more detail on it. Next up is one of the projects that I am currently working on. Right now I have most of the quilt top all put together. I decided to go with pinwheels for my first one. The next step for this quilt will be putting on the border, which I have yet to cut, and then putting that together with the backing. So once that is all done, then I'll be able to quilt that together. I have in my quilting box also the hoop that I'll use to put the quilt stitches in there and quilt that quilt top together. So I also have in my box this hoop, and this is what I'm planning to use when I go to embroider that shirt. And the last thing that I have, the last couple of things that I have here in my quilting box are the other quilt top that I'm working on is a pattern called the Carpenter Star. And so this one I have halfway done now. So there's half of my Carpenter Star quilt top. Since this is only halfway done right now, that means that the last thing in my quilting box is the remaining blocks for this Carpenter Star quilt. So all of this is what it's gonna take to make the other half of this quilt. Alright you guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's first Thread Thursday video. I hope you enjoyed this vlog style video to show you guys where I'm at in the process, a couple of projects that I'm starting on, and what I feel are some of the essentials to get started with sewing. If you guys use any of these same products, go ahead and leave a comment down below, or if you have any other staple products that you think are a necessity for sewing, go ahead and leave that down in the comments below as well. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you want to see content similar to this in future Thread Thursdays, go ahead and hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys soon.